Hi there, thanks for joining me at Anne's Space. I'm continuing my travels in Spain, no longer doing a Camino as was in my last video. So thanks for joining me and stick around to see what I see here in Spain. So when you're in Santiago, you really can't leave the Camino behind. Although my last video was the end of my Camino, I've just come back to buy the cathedral after booking a train. And look at the crowds here, and don't these people look amazing in their gowns? They're just beautiful. And they're all lining up to go into the cathedral. Well, it seems that this Camino is never going to end. I just met a lovely guy called Larry, took each other's photos, and then of course I heard the music. You want to have a look? Of course you do. So last night I came into the cathedral for Mass. Most of it was in Spanish, of course. I'm guessing some of it was in Latin, and I sat about one of those seats there. And yeah, it wasn't the time to take photos, so I thought I'd come back today and just do some filming. Here I am, all laden up with my 2 packs again, leaving Santiago de Compostela. Yes, I've got the 2 packs. I've got the North Face here at the front, and that's my Osprey at the back. And yes, it does feel a little heavier than when I was walking the Camino, when I just had my Osprey, but not too bad. It's actually everything fitted, so that's always good. Excuse the jiggling, but I am walking. So I'm going to go and check out some markets, and then I'm going to head off to the train. Just had a lovely breakfast with a lady called Rosemary from Georgia in the US. So on my way to the station, I gave myself time enough to check out the markets. These markets have been here for many, many years. They were built, they were rebuilt, and now these existing buildings, they're only 100 years old. They look much older, but because of the lichen growing on the granite stone, it ages them. So I'm going to have a quick wander around. Yes, that's better. You can see the granite there and the people bringing in. So they only open at 8 o'clock. So they're not really humming as yet, but I'll go and check out and see what's here. So traditionally in markets, they'd have all the same sort of food in the same building, and they're sticking to that now. Look at those wonderful cheeses. And of course there's the Camino shell. So on the shell, every road leads to Santiago, and that's why the pilgrims wear the shells. So as usual, I am a bit early, and it's Monday, so normally the markets are really humming Tuesday through to Saturday. Unfortunately, I was here on a Sunday and a Monday morning. So luckily the guy who was in my seat actually moved, so I can get the view out the window as I leave Santiago de Compostela. Who knows, I may walk here again in another Camino. There we go, that's why I love being by the window. Look at that mist down there. So we've just had our first stop on the train. I think yeah, sorry, I don't know what the station was called, but about an hour out of Santiago. So the scenery now is really changing. We're a couple of hours out of Santiago, and it's much drier. So the region I was in, and I'll pop what it was called, is known as the wet area. So yeah, we're out of that now. So I'm here in Madrid in the Puerta del Sol Square. and it's that time of night, but people are coming home from work, all the tourists are out and about, and the sky's beautiful. So it's just the perfect time to come down. So good morning. I am doing another walking tour.
Fantastic. Everyone
as
will
you can
come.
see,
So,
I've
good
got
morning
my
everyone. If you
umbrella
want to come
out.
closer, because I don't want this wet, so it's
we've
going
got
to be
Marta
here.
as our
So
guide
today
today.
you're not going to listen. Which in the end is the same. Is telling stories. That is the thing that I like the most in the world. So for the next 2 hours, 2 hours 10, I'm going to be telling you stories. Stories about Madrid. Bum, 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 bum. That's very good. Bum, 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 bum. A little bell for Kay.
So yes, still on the tour and still pouring with rain, and we've just stopped at the oldest restaurant in the world. Let me show you. So this here is the oldest restaurant in the world. The name up there, and there's a little model in the window. And I better catch up with my tour group, otherwise I'll get lost. And apparently this is the oldest barber in the world too. So, oh no, not in the world, in Europe. So yeah, as you can see, it's a pouring wet day. Just absolutely shocking. But I'd still like to do the tour on the first day that I can, because then I get a good layout of the city. Well, my walking tour finished, and I had a quick look in the cathedral, and then I found a wonderful little coffee shop where I had the best coffee and the best chocolate brownie for ages. And now I've come into the History Museum. Now already I can see that it's going to be good because they've got some translation in English, so I might show you a little bit of that. And yes, it's a free museum. It's always a bonus, right? I thought that was really interesting. Like, that is a very long time ago. So these are elephant tusks that were found near Madrid. It's so hard to believe that there was actually elephants here, and they've got a video of this being unearthed. Amazing. And they think it's about 200 years old, so well preserved. So these tools that they've found are between 150 and 240,000 years old. I love seeing all this old stuff because one of my favourite series of books is by Jean M. Moore, The Clan of the Cave Bears and the Mammoth Hunters, and this sort of makes it all seem really so real. So this whole museum is actually in a really significant place and has lots of significant things as well as the modern technology. It has a lot of old artwork as well. And then just in front of me here is a well, which I'll show you. It's really deep. I can't see it to the bottom. It goes way down there. And if you've got time, stop and read this, because the well has a really interesting story. But in brief, a child drowned in it, or didn't drown, actually went into the well, and the mother was grieving, and then the level of the water of the well rose, and the child came up splashing and happy and was saved. And still within the museum is this courtyard, totally covered in. So even in the bad weather that we've had this morning, I would have been able to come in here. I hope and think that it may have stopped raining when I go outside. But you find some funny things in some of the statues. I mean, what's this one all about? Is he checking the teeth of this lion? Who knows? So yay, came out of the museum and it stopped raining, and just found some markets here. Beautiful fragrance as I walk past all these flowers. And I'm finding that Madrid has many different faces. There was the area that I was in last night with all the shops and everything else. And here there's the older buildings, lots of apartments, and lots of different styles too. So I'm actually really enjoying Madrid. I didn't know anything about it before I came here, and that's half the fun of just discovering a totally new place. So I've found another interesting, I think, snapshot in history. So that's where I'm heading now. I'm going to use the metro. I got a 10-trip pass when I arrived at this railway station yesterday, so I may as well use that. I have to show you these really cute little buses. They're tiny, but so effective around the city. So I'm going into another historical museum, and I think this one is like a much more recent history. So let's go take a look. So I'm thinking this museum may not be as good as the other one from my perspective, because I haven't seen any English yet. So I will continue through, but it might be very quick if there's nothing written in English. Okay, no, there is information in English, and this is much more recent history than the previous one I went to. So it's a black and white art display, and unfortunately there's no English. So unfortunately that second museum I wasn't permitted to take any videos, which was a bit of a shame, but there was some brilliant artwork there and I did do some photographs, so I'll pop them into the video and hopefully you enjoy them. So I found this as a free thing to look at. This is the Palace of Longoria. I'm not sure whether I think it's really ugly or quite unique. Probably a bit of both. There's some mosaic tiles up there and some detail. I'm not sure whether I think it's a beautiful palace. Who knows what it's like inside, because I can't go in. But there's been some other interesting photos that I've taken some photos of. Some interesting buildings, I should say, that I've taken photos of. And then there's these little wee mandarin things, and I bought one the other day from Carrefour. Just tasted like a tiny orange. So yeah, lots and lots of apartments here, that's for sure. I've come out of the city a little bit. I caught the metro, so metro system's really great here. Well, in a city like Madrid, it's really difficult to know where to point your camera. There's so many interesting buildings and sites, and I'm probably not doing it justice, but you know, I've got my phone, I'm doing the best I can, right? So the things you do for a free entry to the museum. So my fourth museum of the day, one I couldn't go into, is the Prado Museum, where there's some amazing artwork. So it's free from 6 o'clock till 8 o'clock at night. So I've got in the line, I've got about 20 minutes before 6, and then yeah, I guess they'll take us in, not all straight away. So yep, it'll be interesting to see just how long it takes to get in. So this is the museum I've been waiting to go into. I've just got to wait for a bit longer. I'm glad I arrived when I did, because the queue behind me, you can't even see the end of it, it's huge. Well, that actually wasn't too bad. It took 40 minutes, and our guide this morning, she said we should start lining up at 5, so we weren't in a huge queue. But that would have meant waiting for an hour, so I think my idea of getting here about 20 to 6 actually worked in my favour. I mean, plus it's a wet night, so there's probably not so many people wanting to line up in the rain. So now that I've come in, I've had a look at some of the artwork. A lot of this is from the 1600s, and a lot of it is religious, but it all has a little story, and some of it's in English, which is great. So you can see this is a huge gallery, so many different areas. And I think I'm just skimming the surface, because there's multi-stories as well. So I've come upstairs in the gallery now. The size of some of these paintings are just huge. And yes, I'm not very good with art. I don't know many artists. So we've just been told that the museum's closing and everyone's rushing out the door. Well, I certainly didn't see all the museum. So that is a massive museum. Now I don't know why they call it a museum and not an art gallery, because it was all art. Excuse the reflection on the glasses there. Yeah, it was all art, and it seems like the Prado Gallery is an incredibly old gallery, and I must Google it, and we'll put it here how long it's been a gallery, because some of the pieces there referred to when they were donated to the gallery, and it seemed to be hundreds of years ago. So yeah, very interesting. I've just noticed a beautiful church up on my right. I'll turn you around to have a look. Isn't that beautiful? I wouldn't have even noticed it probably in the daytime. No, don't think I've come out the same entrance as they got. So I need to work out my way back to the hostel. The hostel's actually in a really good place, and I will, if I remember, put the name in the description, because it's so good to have a hostel that's handy, clean, good common area, and well run. Well, what a difference a morning makes. This morning it's bright, it's sunny, there's not a cloud in the sky, just a noisy motorbike. And yeah, so today I've done the museums. Today I'm going to do the outdoor things. My first off is going to a park where apparently there's a really old glass house. So come along, let's enjoy some more time in Madrid. So on my way to finding this glass house, I've actually come past the Prado Museum where I was last night. Now this will give you an indication of just how large the building is. So it starts here and it goes all the way down there, and I think it's 4 stories high. Very impressive. So while I'm here, I'm just going to stop in and take a look at the Church of St. Jerome. Now I did take some photos of it last night in the dark and it looked beautiful, so I'm going to see what it's like inside. Now it looks like it may or may not be open. We shall see. I must show you the doors to get into this church. There's this door here with a handle and you open it up, and there's a solid door. So to get in, you have to push the solid door, and that takes you into the church. Now, I much prefer churches like this than the great big cathedrals that I've been going into. So this is El Retiro Park, and it's literally 5 minutes from the Prado Museum. So yeah, probably 15 minutes from my hostel. So a perfect location to come just out of the bustling, busy shopping streets of Madrid. So these are seriously well-tended gardens. They're just beautiful, and they're actually really quite large. I'm still working my way through to where I think the glass house is, but there's only a few people here. I just went past some tennis courts. There were some people busy in there, but yeah, it's just beautiful. And of course, there's a few people walking with their dogs, which is always lovely. Oh, well, there's the glass house, but sadly it looks like it's under repair, so it's closed. But I'll walk up a bit closer and just have a look and see if I can get more of an idea of what it would normally look like. Looks like the path's up here and the fence is not closed, but there's a perimeter fence. Oh, that's a shame. So you can see from this angle how old this glass house is, and I will try and find out a bit more. But sadly, it's under renovation and I can't see any more than this. All is not lost. There's a beautiful lake here showing the autumn colours and this lovely waterfall. No, not waterfall, it's a fountain, right? I always love them. So still within the park, I've come across the Palace of de las Fuqueras. And yeah, it looks like this is also under renovation. Beautiful building. And that cute little dog down there. He's been deserted. Now, just stopped for a little snack, and this park is such a great place for people watching. So many people out appreciating the sunshine. And the girl over there is painting with watercolour. And then we've got this musician here. What a great place. So this shows just how crowded this park is. And a lovely piece of music. And his wife's there with the castanets. That's lovely. There's so many people. So I'm going to leave the park now. There's other things I want to see, including the gate that's just over there. So there's not many entry gates left in this city. In fact, I think this is the only one. So this is the Puerta de Alcalá gateway, one of the only gateways left here into Madrid. Very popular place, and it's right by a really busy roundabout. So this palace here, I'm not quite sure what palace it's called, it's on a very big roundabout, very big intersection. And now that's the entrance basically to the city of Madrid. And yeah, lots of people here, lots of workers here. Not sure what this building here is in front of me, but another spectacular one. So many lovely buildings here. Really, really can't help but photograph them all. Okay, so I could come into this palace. I just had to have my bags go through the security scanner, which I don't have a problem with, keeps me safe. Cool ceiling, right? And I could come further up into the building. So this used to actually be an old post office, a post office headquarters, and then the city took it back over and turned it into a cultural centre and an information centre. So it's been really great wandering around the old post office building. I still don't know why it was called a palace, because it never was a palace. It was only the post office building. But yeah, looking down onto this very busy roundabout, and there's a traffic controller down there, which is really interesting on such a huge roundabout. So I can go up another level in this old post office building. Really cool, beautiful mosaics. Well, that's the end of going up. Let's see what's in here. So my plan wasn't actually to come to the palace this early. I'm going to come later, I think, when it's free entry. But the way I wanted to go was closed for refurbishment, so I've had to loop round. And here we go, here's the guards. These look very impressive, don't they? The horses even have to behave as well. And just in case I don't get back, I'll take a full video now. Like on our walking tour yesterday, I think that Marta said there's over 8,000 rooms in this palace. And the king's idea was that he could just spend each day in a different room. However, funnily enough, he actually died before the palace was finished being built. But yeah, just showing you just how many people are here as tourists in Madrid. This city has made a real effort to plant lots of trees and put in lots of parks, which I can see here looking over the Moorish gardens. Now we can't go into those gardens at the moment, they're all closed for renovation, but they're right beside the cathedral and the palace. So that's the side of the palace, and there's the side of the cathedral. So the 00 sign is the conjunction of all the roads. All the roads came to this point. If I put 1 foot in, I might come back to visit. If I put 2 feet in, I might come back to stay. So there you go. Who knows what's going to happen? Oh, seeing as so many things that I tried to go to today have been closed, I've come back and I'm going to like sort of recreate the walking tour that I did yesterday in the pouring rain. So this is Plaza Mea, and yeah, it used to be a plaza, it was a market, it was for executions, it was for weddings, you name it, it was. And it's got a whole lot of characters here today. I've never seen so many in one place. I do like them. Not enough to give them any money though. Well, I really did love Madrid. It was just a great city to wander around. I mean, even in that stormy, wet weather that I had when I did the walking tour, it just didn't stop me enjoying it. So I hope you like these pictures and have enjoyed the video. Here comes my little farewell to you. So, well, good morning. This is probably a really good time to finish this video. I'm actually waiting for the metro at where am I? Madrid. Yes, so I've just left the hostel. I've got all my baggage. I've got my maroon pack on my back. I've got my orange pack on my lap. And yeah, getting the train to the major railway station at Charmata. So thank you for watching my video on Madrid. It's a wonderful city, and definitely, like, I encourage you to come here. It's an easy city. The metro is easy to get around. All the tourist destinations easy. Just mind out for pickpockets. I did meet one lady who had lost all her personal ID. So yeah, thanks for watching the video. Until next time, bye for now. Well, I said goodbye on my last little clip, but I actually still haven't left Madrid. For 5 hours I was trying to sort out what to do because the train to Valencia, where I was heading, was cancelled. So I had to work out where I was going to go. And yes, Valencia, unfortunately there's been terrible flooding down there. So you and me will have to wait and see where I end up. So a little clip just to add to the end of that last video.